Okay, so this is video number 2. Um, this is my YouTube phase in life, and happening at 26 is gonna be interesting. I'm hoping that it takes off. Um, you know, I it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. I'm not someone who doesn't really care much about everything having to be so fine-tuned. Yes, you do have to curate a YouTube channel and make it be good in a certain way where I'm not really one who knows how to do the captions and getting good angles. I'm gonna have to consult with someone who has done a YouTube channel and knows what they're doing, kind of like Forgotten Treasures, who is someone who explores abandoned places, excuse me, just like I do. um I am going through a quarter life crisis, and that's something I do want to address in this video. Is It started when I turned 25. It hit me like a brick wall, and yeah, it's not easy. It's not. Um, I struggle with my past, like a lot of people do. Um, 2022 to 2023 was probably the best year so far for me exploring. And today it seems that exploring has gotten out of control, which I mentioned a little bit in my last video. Is a lot of places in New York, upstate New York, around New York City, etc., are getting burned or being completely destroyed. And it sucks that I did not start exploring until the 20s, until the 2020s, So I wish I explored in the 2010s. you know. Um, I would have been probably started when I was 14, 15 if that was the case. But I was always afraid of trespassing, you know. Now I just don't care, and there's plenty of people who, won't show their face or cover their face up when they go exploring, which it is important because, you don't want to be identified, if you come across something. But it's like I feel like part of being human and the human experience is the simple fact that you want to do things that aren't boring, right? And I feel like society is the other way around. It seems that like most normal functioning people in society, they have some 9 to 5 job. you know, um, Being a police officer to me is the most dumbest job out there. I'm sorry. I'd rather be a firefighter, but police officers are the stupidest job out there. Today's world, people hate police officers. They have their reasons. Yes, police officers can be heroes, but most of them are just a-holes. They want to have power. They move around like robots. They move together in groups. And a lot of police officers do act like they're part of a cult. They do things discreetly. They just love to just do things and get away with it. I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, I saw a police officer put his lights on. We're at a red light, and he put his lights on to get around people. And my uncle, my cousins were all in the car. He made a joke and said that he's probably going to go to Dunkin' Donuts because there's a Dunkin' Donuts right up the street. We get past the light, see where he goes, and he's sitting in the Dunkin' Donuts. He put his lights on just so that he could go through the light and go to Dunkin' Donuts. It's like, I haven't seen that today, but it's like I don't like it when they take advantage of the privileges that they have. I mean, I've taken advantages of the privilege I've had in certain things, but it's besides the point. It's that most policemen want power, or that's what they want to do their job. They have power. They feel like they can get away with things other people can't. I've seen police officers using their phones while driving, but yet you're going to pull over the same people, civilians, we're all the same people who are driving down the road. It's to me, it's not a two-way street, and it shouldn't be. But you're kind of making it a two-way street, but you're like going against it by pulling people over that way. So it's like, and there are plenty of issues in this country right now. I'm going to a protest tomorrow in DC. I'm photographing that. So, I have to ride my bike down. I could take the train, um, maybe from Baltimore, see how much a metro ticket would cost me. But, I'm going to have to be taking my bike on it. So, you know, and it's going to be interesting to see what I don't see, you know. And one of the other things I want to say is let's talk about money for a minute. So, money is definitely a construct that was made by humans, obviously, um, and I think it's very dumb how society works. It is. I started to wake up as a person in my early 20s and start to think about how dumb certain things are in the world. We shouldn't be required to work, you know. Um, Money to me isn't real. And it's a very stupid concept and thing that I think about often is that you are required to work and you get paid a piece of paper, which is getting ready to be digital anyway. It already pretty much is digital. We're getting rid of the penny. So it's like, it doesn't make sense why we need to make money. Like, people literally chase money their entire lives. It's just not something I care about. I care more about spending money on experiences. Like, there's a part of me that would like to have my own house, but I'm perfectly fine with literally just living in a mobile home. But the downside of having a mobile home, like a camper, bus, convert, whatever you do, is that God forbid someone, hits you, you get in an accident, all of your livelihood is in that vehicle that you converted. So, it's best to have a stationary home on top of that, you know. But and the other thing I wanted to talk about here is, like I said, I should have started this YouTube channel a long time ago. And I think my anxiety and depression kind of stems from I did not grasp the reality of how things were before they got bad. And I could have taken advantage of so much if I just started the YouTube channel. One of my best friends moved to Florida recently, and she lived in Philly. One of the most nicest, amazing people I know, very down to earth. We did so much together. She showed me so many places in Philly. She'd come down here. I showed her a couple places in Maryland, but I feel like I did not show her enough when it came to exploring. I feel like I'm in debt to her. Just emotionally helping each other when it comes to what we were going through mentally and understanding each other. And she showed me, rooftops, and she showed me churches. Like, there's so many places in Philly that I got hooked onto, and just made me get into exploring just how I am today. And the courage to not be afraid to take a risk, And I miss those days, Friends come and go in life. You'll always see your friends at some point, for the most part, I hope. But it's like when you're so close to someone, and you just you're gonna be friends, and that you're probably gonna be friends with them forever, whether you see them or not. You'll still stay in contact. But it's difficult when things aren't how they used to be. When you used to hang out almost every weekend, and now you're just hustling out and working, and adulting isn't easy for anybody. I think the dumbest things that adults don't kind of fully make aware to kids is how difficult adulthood is until it hits you. It's like you can't be so not nonchalant, but you can't leave people in the dark. I'm not gonna leave my kid in the dark. I'm gonna, kind of tell him early on how tough life is and how to balance having fun and how to be your own person, But tonight we're doing photography. I'm doing some steel wool photography. So I'll probably explain how that is done, My next video will be about certain places that I have been sad about that are gone. and the memories I've made in them. So, like I said, this channel isn't just going to be about my exploring. It's going to be about what I go through as an individual and as a person, and what I've gone through. So, yeah. And lastly, but not least, always stay weird. Don't be normal. Normal people are boring, and they suck the life out of people like me.